Real Truth Daily. This is Daily Truths with Dave Ahlman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Daily Truths. We're in Matthew chapter 27, verses 62 and 63. The next day, that is, after the day of preparation, the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered before Pilate and said, "Sir, we remember how that impostor said while he was still alive, 'After 3 days, I will rise.'" Okay, what's going on here? So these guys, the day of preparation is the 24 hours leading up to the Sabbath day. So the writer here, Matthew, is saying this is the day after preparation. So what is this? This is the Sabbath. So they had a rule: don't break the Sabbath. Don't work on the Sabbath. Don't do anything on the Sabbath. They're breaking that rule by going to Pilate saying, "Hey, that imposter said he was going to rise from the dead." Now, did Jesus ever say this to the religious leaders? No. What he did say was, destroy this temple, and in 3 days, I'll raise it again. And of course, they were thinking he was talking about the real temple, the temple building, not the temple of the dwelling place of God, namely his body. So Jesus never proclaimed to them that he was going to rise from the dead. He did say that to the disciples. He said, the Son of Man is going to be handed over to the hands of sinful men, be crucified, and raised up on the third day. He said, just as Jonah is in the belly of the whale for 3 days, so the Son of Man is going to be in the belly of the ground for 3 days and then rise again. So he said specifically to his disciples, he was going to rise from the dead. So how did these religious leaders find out that Jesus said he was going to rise from the dead? Well, Judas probably tipped them off, right? He probably told them that Jesus said he was going to rise from the dead. That's where they got their information. Now, here's the thing I want you to think about. Why did these religious leaders remember that Jesus said he was going to rise from the dead and the disciples did not? Right? So maybe it's because they were focused on their own problems, right? Or maybe Satan had blinded them to the truth of what Jesus had said. Or maybe they were just thinking about their own grief and how difficult it was going to be not to have Jesus there. Or maybe they were filled with doubt. We could maybe give 101 different reasons why the disciples didn't cling to the words that Jesus was going to rise from the dead, but they simply didn't. And do you know what? Sometimes we forget the same thing. Now, if they would have remembered that Jesus was going to rise from the dead on Easter Sunday morning, and even that Saturday before Easter, they would have told each other, hey, everything's going to be okay. Jesus has got this under control. He's going to rise from the dead tomorrow morning. He promised he would do it. We'll see him again. Everything is going to be fine, right? But here's the thing. Jesus did rise from the dead. He did defeat death. And so as a result of that, we can focus on him instead of our problems. We can tell Satan to take a hike when he casts doubt and fear into our lives. When everything seems to be coming apart at the seams, we know that Jesus is still in control and he'll lead us through and comfort us in the midst of every trial and difficulty we go through. Why? Because the tomb is empty. And because the tomb is empty, he never leaves us nor forsakes us, but rather gives us strength to face all the challenges that come our way. We remember that the tomb is empty. And because we remember that the tomb is empty, what do we have? The providential care, the love, the peace, the joy, the certainty of salvation, all that comes through the crucified and resurrected Christ. So we need to be reminded when things are overwhelming, when troubles mount, when guilt of sin is just overcoming our soul, when we're grieving and mourning over the loss of loved ones. We have to remember that Christ is with us, that he defeated death, that he'll lead us through the difficulties of life, and someday will take us home to be in a place where all the problems of this world are all gone. This is the comfort we have in the crucified and resurrected Christ. So, yeah, sometimes we're like the disciples. Sometimes we don't remember the words of Jesus, and we're filled with remorse and regret and anxiety and apprehension and discouragement and all the things that Satan would throw at us. And so we need a word like this that tells us to fix our eyes on the empty tomb of Christ, on the ascended Lord Jesus, realizing that he is with us and he'll never leave us, never forsake us, and nothing can separate us, not only from his presence, but from his love. And that is today's Daily Truth. Have a great day in the Lord Jesus Christ.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Truths with Dave Allman. Pastor Dave Allman is the pastor of Mount Hope Church in Boulder, Colorado. If this ministry is blessing you, please consider supporting us by sharing this channel with a friend. You can also like, comment, subscribe, or leave a review. This helps us tremendously. Come back tomorrow for your next Daily Truth.